if you really want your content to succeed, you have to have that personal aspect, but then I'm relying on you to get it to me. So I have to get pictures from you. I need, something happened in the office. I need you to tell me about it. So I still have to rely on you for that piece. And that's where you're going to see the most engagement in your content is when you're adding those pieces in.
Hi there. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joanna Ehresman.
And I'm Leah Alter.
And this is WomenShare, a celebration of women in financial services.
Today, we are thrilled to welcome Kalli Fedusenko to the WomenShare podcast. Kalli is the founder of the Kalli Collective, a marketing agency that's transforming how financial advisors connect with their clients in the digital age. With a career in the financial services industry, Kalli has a knack for making marketing feel approachable and effective. We're fans of her practical insights, relatable style, and her passion for helping advisors build authentic connections to drive real growth. Whether speaking, writing, or consulting, Kalli's mission is clear: to simplify marketing and inspire action. As a fellow women entrepreneur, Kalli understands the challenges and triumphs of building a successful business, and she's dedicated to equipping others to do the same. We cannot wait to dive into your story, your expertise, and all the advice you have for our financial professionals that all tune in each week. So we're so excited to have you. Welcome to the podcast, Kalli.
I'm excited to be here. I'm super excited about the whole women entrepreneur aspect of this.
Absolutely.
Yes. Shared passion among all three of us here today. Yes. And we're pumped to dive in. There's a lot of ground we could cover, from, like, we talked about entrepreneurship to marketing. So first, tell us about Kalli Collective. What prompted you to start your firm, and what does the agency look like today?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we are now, I have to think about how old my dog is because I got her when I started the company. So we're looking at 7 years ago.
Wow.
I went out on my own. So I had been doing marketing internally for financial advisors, but it was 7 years ago that I actually started the agency. Just me in the beginning with one client.
Yeah.
And now here we are 7 years later. I've got subcontractors who work for me. We have like a little team, and we're serving, I don't even know how many advisors, but we get to work with a lot of advisors, and it's very exciting. Not only my growth, but watching them grow as well.
Right. To see them like working with your team, partnering, put these strategies in place and help them to grow. And would you say in general, is it advisors, like more independent advisors doing their own thing? Is it ever, advisors who are part of a larger organization just looking for additional support that maybe the corporate team didn't have capacity? That was like, I felt that was my experience on the corporate side. Like, I would love to help you, but I can't for 400 people.
Right.
Coaching, right? So is it a mix, or who's the typical client?
Yeah, it's a mix, but I would say 95% are independent. The other 5% are like an in-between mix. I have never worked with someone who is with Edward Jones or Northwestern Mutual, because they're too restricted with what they can and can't do. But I will work with someone who is like with Raymond James, and they can do some of their own stuff, but they're still using the Raymond James name. I just have to follow those brand guidelines that are put in place.
Got it. So a pretty broad then kind of exposure to supporting different firm sizes. That's really interesting.
Yeah. I would say most of them are on the independent side, though.
Yeah.
Fewer are in the restricted environment.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, right? Like we say restricted, but as a whole, advisors are, there's definitely always a compliance aspect to whatever marketing, advertising an advisor is doing. I spent the bulk of my career also helping
Yeah.
independent advisors brand and market their firms. And there really is so much untapped resource there for advisors. And I love connecting with other marketers like yourself who are really helping advisors to kind of branch out, do things a little bit different than kind of you've always seen or always been taught to do things.
Right.
And one of the things you talk about is, and I love this, is having a really clear target audience and also knowing where those people spend their time online. That's so important. So if I'm an advisor listening to the show, I don't have like a huge budget to, hire a firm for that kind of research and developing that client profile. What are some of the methods that they could, kind of employ, to make a more actionable understanding of who that target audience is?
Yeah. So I actually have a course on my website. I've created this back end part of my website called the Savvy Advisor. And that is more if you are looking for do it yourself with a little help. So I'm not doing anything for you. I'm just kind of giving you tools and resources that will help you do it yourself. So I have a few like worksheets that someone can go through that will help them figure out who is their target audience and what is the message that they're trying to send. Where do they want to be posting? But one of the things that I work with people is using your top 10 clients.
Yes.
Right. So who are your top 10 clients? And it might not always be by how much they're paying you. It might be they refer someone to me every week. So I consider them a top client. So you want to take a look at that, especially if you're newer and you're like, I don't really have a niche, I just have clients. And that will help you break it down. Like, okay, who is my core demographic? Who am I serving now? What do they have in common? And then we kind of work through it that way.
I always also told them, like, taking out the money piece of it. It's like when you open your calendar and you look at your week ahead and the clients that are on your calendar that you're so excited for those meetings.
Yeah.
You can't wait to catch up with them, hear what's going on with them, hear about that last vacation. Like really the people that fire you up, like, let's find you more of those clients so that every meeting is that, not like, once a week or whatever. And I think just that shift in perspective for advisors can be really game changing in terms of who they, end up attracting as new clients.
Yeah. Something else, I don't talk a lot about this, but when I'm developing a brand strategy for someone, I do like to find out, like, is there a service that brings in more profit than another service that we can highlight in your content? I think that's something that kind of gets overlooked because so many advisors are holistic advisors and they're doing a little bit of everything. But there's always one key thing, maybe more than one, that is going to be more profitable for you from a business aspect that we want to make sure we're highlighting so that we can hit the people who need it.
Yeah. I mean, if I see holistic advisor on one more website, I don't know. I might throw the computer out the window.
It was like a huge thing when it first came out that nobody has it, but now literally everybody has it.
Right. Everybody provides great service, has a team of experts, all the things, right? It was funny. That actually reminds me of, it was a very much a like aha moment when in a role I held corporately, someone was like, you realize your clients aren't walking around saying, I want comprehensive wealth management today. They have, they have a problem, and it's usually a specific event, a specific problem. And so it's like tying that to, okay, what are the similar needs that I can speak to of these top 10 clients, right? That I want more of on my calendar.
Talking to the advisors about what they do, the ones who are saying holistic, I do find that each of them do something a little bit different that someone else doesn't do. And I'm like, that's what we need to be highlighting. Like somebody was talking about getting paid in benefits. like, oh, you get a piece of the stock options. And like that alone, I was like, I don't have any other clients who are doing that. Like that should be what you're focusing on, because I don't know anyone who does that. There's like things like that come up in conversation that you're like, that's actually pretty unique.
Yeah.
Lean
into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and specifically to your point earlier about the Edward Jones and Northwestern Mutual and these brands that are much more familiar to clients.
Yeah.
Right. So how can you stand out as an individual or a smaller firm? And those typically are the things that are going to make you stand out versus one of those bigger name firms.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So dovetailing on the topic of just differentiation and that sort of thing, a big pillar that seems your team focuses on with advisors is a thoughtful content strategy. So curious to hear what some of the biggest constraints are to an advisor being able to have an effective or consistent content strategy. What are the roadblocks?
My answer is going to surprise you. Number one, time.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we're doing the heavy lifting. I come to our meetings and I'm pitching content for them. Then we're creating the content. But what I found is like, if you really want your content to succeed, you have to have that personal aspect, but then I'm relying on you to get it to me. So I have to get pictures from you. I need, something happened in the office. I need you to tell me about it. So I still have to rely on you for that piece. And that's where you're going to see the most engagement in your content is when you're adding those pieces in. So I would love if we could just do everything, and the advisor didn't have to be part of it, because it wouldn't get bottlenecked, but it's just not practical if you want a thriving content plan. So that's the main thing. And that goes in for the review process too. For me, that's where I'm seeing things that they get stuck in review for a long time. I'm like, you just have to read it. It's not too bad. The next piece that I see as a roadblock would be fear of diving into a niche. I see that a lot. I think it's scary because you feel like you're going to miss out on other clients and I'm going to lose money, when I think it really sets you apart. It makes, and Leah, you'll probably agree with this, it makes our jobs as marketers so much easier, because now I have a very specific message that I'm creating for a very specific person, that now I'm just trying to nail that piece of it rather than I have to figure out something that resonates with everybody. So I think leaning into
which resonates with nobody. Yeah, because then it just sounds generic and trite, and nobody wants to be marketed to that way.
Right.
Especially now, right? Where, it's not like the people that in a time where some people were on social media and some people weren't, and some people got it this way and some people got it that way. Everybody is on a platform, like grandmas, great grandmas, they're all somewhere doing, reading and absorbing content. So you have to be, and that personality piece that you talked about, working with advisors, they would go, I posted a picture of this dog that came in the other day and we've never gotten so many likes and comments on anything. And I'm like, ding, 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 ding.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like, of course, someone's going to love that more than the top 10 savings tips.
Right.
I'm like, it's not that isn't, speaking
needed,
to
right,
who you are and what you offer, but people aren't going to resonate with something that they could see on 900 other people's social media. Right.
Exactly. And so what I tell my clients, I've just started saying this, especially as AI is becoming so ingrained in everything we do now. I'm like, because I'll get a little bit of pushback on the personal part too, like not pushback, but more of, I don't know what people want to hear. And so I describe it as, you want to prove you're not a robot, prove that you're not AI.
I love that.
Well, and even what are where we found some traction, it was like having advisors reflect on, hey, what were some of the most interesting client conversations you had in the past week? Not even about necessarily their financial plan or whatever, but what were the things that, reflect on that. And then how do you translate that into a social post or whatever format is comfortable for you or authentic to you. But
I saw something the other day that said, if you don't enjoy the content that you're making, nobody's going to enjoy receiving the content. And I was like, oh, what a concept, right? Like you really have to enjoy it. It has to be something that you care about, because that authenticity piece, even if it's on an online exchange, people get they will pick it up. If it's not, real and authentic, people are not super interested in it.
Absolutely. We had Joel talking about getting last names right. Joe Saul Seahigh.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah. From Stacking Benjamins.
Yep.
And he said, I think it was the first year they didn't do great, their podcast, but it was the second year. And he said the big difference was that they made it an entertaining show. It was, they focused on the entertainment aspect of it. And I think, especially in today's world, which it does kind of make it harder for all of us, but that's what we want. We want to be entertained. When I go on my phone, I want you to entertain me.
Yeah.
I want that dopamine hit.
Yeah, because we're swimming in information. We always have information available to us that we can look up proactively, right? But yes, that's such a good point of what mode is your perspective or your current client in when they're looking at your LinkedIn page or, whatever it might be.
Well, and then what is that balance of, figuring out for you what the balance of the entertainment and the necessary information, right? So what is it that you want the person to do with the content that you just shared? Whether that's a follow, a link to the website, download this, whatever that is, right? Like weaving that into the entertainment piece. And those that get that right, those are the ones that you see have a lot of people coming back, have those high click-through rates on what it is that they're doing, because it is that balance. It's not, I'm not here just to entertain you, and I'm not here just to sell you something.
Right.
It's that good balance of both.
Yeah. Relationship building.
Yes.
That's really what it comes down to. What's going to build that relationship with the other person on the other line?
So we are all very aware of the generational wealth transfer that's underway. We're like 5 years away from it now, which is kind of crazy. It seemed like something so far in the distance, and now it's not so much. So what shifts in marketing strategy do you think that firms need to be making to stay relevant and, really to speak to all those different generations? Particularly, this show being WomenShare, speaking to women who we know are going to be getting a lot more of that wealth than they ever have before. Right. What are you doing with your clients to kind of help in that?
I found this super interesting. Michael Kitches said that, advisors shouldn't focus on the new generations. They should focus on whoever their target demographic is. So let me say that differently. Let me try and say it more like he delivered it, which was, if you're working with people who are retiring, why would you change your message for somebody who's not retiring yet? And then, we had asked what about people? I mean, your clients die off eventually, right? Everybody dies. Well, then that money leaves. And he was saying, well, it's actually not as big of a amount as you would think. Like it makes more sense to stay focused on the your current demographic. It's easier. How did he word it? It's easier to build loyalty than it is to get a new client. And if you have to create new services, then you're introducing more expenses. I mean, I think there is some validity to that, but I Kalli, think advisors should be preparing regardless for how the next generation is interacting. Even if you're not introducing new services or changing your messaging, I think the medium and the way you are delivering it needs to resonate with the person that you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
So as far as like, I guess I should give some practical, because you asked specifically, what am I doing? And I would say looking at those other platforms that are available and assessing, does it make sense to include them? Because every new platform that you add into your content is another one that you have to manage. And sometimes it's not worth it. And then I think making things really easy for people to find online, whether that's on your website or somewhere else. One of the easiest low-hanging fruit, I'll say the most low-hanging fruit that I see that gets missed is your Google business profile. So many advisors don't claim it or update it, and missing out on a lot of SEO there.
Well, and also I think that's an interesting point of, it's not saying don't focus on your current client, but also outside of even marketing or kind of going down funnel in the client relationship, it's like inherently everybody just has different expectations of what it's like to do business with an organization. So if you have really great digital marketing, but then you move to an analog process after that, where it's like, sign this paper form and we're going to mail you your statement. Like, you have to think about that disconnect, because guess what? You know, my parents who are well into retirement don't even want that, right? Like your current clients want a better experience, and the next, the incoming generations of clients are going to want that even more. And it's just a table stakes, right? So
eMoney did this study on how, oh my gosh, what is it called? The tech that you use to like see your accounts, how that affects advisors, clients' satisfaction. And if you're using an online platform that people can see their accounts and, you know, connect with you, that they see that trending upwards in the satisfaction of the client. So just like you're saying, you know, we're living in a digital world now.
Yeah, I think one of the most important decisions an advisor can make is the technology that they use to present to a client, and meeting the client where they're at, right? Not having such sophisticated technology that maybe older clients cannot grasp or understand or want to learn, but also being able to empower them to log on to something and see something in a snapshot without having to rely on you to answer every question. Again, I think it's a balance of it, but you know, services and like technology as a service, like an eMoney, those types become super important, because that can, I think, when you are talking about younger generations and like wanting to keep that wealth within your firm, right? Like a grandparent and a parent and a child, or an adult child, being able for that parent to pull it up on their phone and go through that with their adult child of like, here's where, you know, this is what I use and am able to whatever. That I think becomes really powerful tool without you yourself having to present it. I think I think that study probably behooves eMoney really well, but I do think it's really important for sure. And that goes for marketing tools as well. You know, and how your emails are delivered and all of that. I think that's all really important.
There's even an opportunity for the clients who maybe aren't as digitally savvy to build on that relationship by offering classes. Like I knew a few advisors who that they would do, like, especially when iPads had just come out, they would invite their clients to come in and they would have an Apple expert come in and show them how to use the iPad. And I think that's just such a great idea. Not only are you helping them increase that skill, but that it builds on the trust that they have with you.
Absolutely.
That's smart. I hadn't heard of that approach
Yeah.
before. That's good. That's good. Okay. So we're curious. So outside of talking marketing and advisors, curious to hear, what is the best career advice you've ever received?
Oh yeah. I saw this and I was like, I don't know. Because I feel like so much, okay, I do know what it would be. Someone told me once, I couldn't even tell you who said it, but they said that building a business or a career is not done in a silo. So like it's a community thing. And I think that's really important when you're starting out, to realize that you've got to build a community and find people that you can reach out to when you come across something, because you absolutely will come across something. The second piece of advice was when I was an intern at Clear Channel Outdoor, which was billboards.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, I had applied to the graphic design program at USF and I did not get in. And I was like, I could wait another year and apply again, or I could change my degree. Well, not change, because I was in a mass communication degree, and rather than going for fine arts graphic design, I could stay in mass communication. And so I asked my intern boss at Clear Channel, like, if you were hiring somebody, which would you prefer? And she was like, oh, mass communication, no question. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to stick in mass communication. And so I did. And I feel like that was very helpful because I learned a lot of other like writing skills that I wouldn't have learned had I done the design program.
Love that.
The broader skill set. I like that. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
And Kalli, what can we celebrate with you today? Like beyond professional life, we love to celebrate women and, beyond our success professionally, what can we celebrate with you today?
I got a new dog in November. His name is Lego. He came with the name. And I'm sure you can guess he was named by a child.
Yes.
He is a gray standard poodle. We got him. I have the 7-year-old doodle, Labradoodle. And I told her that I was getting the other dog for her.
Oh, so she'd have a friend.
I can relate. My second dog I got for my dog.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, oh, I definitely just got a dog for my dog.
Yeah. Well, and of course, he's had like all these health issues that we've been working through since we got him. So I have to think about how a week and a half ago, he had to have a tooth extracted because it had been broken and was like cracked and the nerve was showing. So he's doing good, although he tore his stitches and they're like, oh, this is a really big deal. And so he's been in a cone for a week. We actually just went to the vet yesterday to check and they're like, no, he's got to stay in it another week. And so I'm like, I'm sorry, Clementine, you can't play with him. You got to wait until
it'll be worth it.
He's in the cone. I was going to say, so is it working out their siblingship or whatever it is?
Now it is. In the beginning, I was like, oh boy.
Made a huge
mistake. What did we do? We just look at her and she was like, don't look at me, don't breathe. But
there's always a transition period.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they're getting along much better. And the cone kind of protects them right now.
It worked out in his benefit one way.
But I tell you what, he's aggressive with that thing. He just bumps right into you. He does not let it stop him.
Yeah, I've gotten a few bruises on the back of the legs from a cone.
Well, Kalli, this has been so fun and just great to, just hear your insights on marketing and what's going on with advisors. And it's just it was really insightful. So if anybody who's listening wants to learn more about you or the services you offer, what's the best way for them to find you?
Yes. Kalli Collective, KALLI, KalliCollective.com. If that is too hard to remember, you can do askusmarketing.live. Both of those URLs will take us to our site.
Awesome.
Perfect. And we'll have those links in the show notes so anyone can find them directly through that. And of course, we will get them to your LinkedIn page as well.
Yeah. I know my name is spelled, you know, a little special. So sometimes it makes it hard to find me.
People will remember you.
Yeah. It's my mom and my dad's name put together, which was Kathy and Larry.
Really?
How cute.
Oh, that's cool. That was my neighbor. Her name was Taryn, and it was a combination of Terry and Karen. So there you go.
That's cute too.
Anyway.
I think sometimes, so my husband's name is Michelob. Yes, like the beer. And so I try and think, I'm like, how would we combine our names? I just can't come up with anything that is pleasant.
We're going to have to think on that. If anyone listening comes up with an idea, make sure you reach out to Kalli. Hook her up. Well, thank you again so much for coming on the show. That is our show for today. And if ours is a mission that you want to share in, subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform. That was a tongue twister. With that, I'm Leah Alter.
And I'm Joanna Ehresman, and we'll catch you on the next episode of WomenShare.